Well, they're business line of machines, and they're nicer line of business machines. Technically, it's the EliteBook 820 G1. Somehow G1 seems to get tacked onto a lot of the EliteBook names. First thing you're going to notice about it is, well, it's 12.5 inches, so it's not really huge, and 12.5 inches is the new 13 inches maybe for business ultrabooks. The ThinkPad, Lenovo ThinkPad X240 is also 12.5 inches, for example. The Dell XPS 12 is 12.5 inches, but it's not ugly. It's not the skinniest thing you've ever seen in the world, but there's a good reason for it, and you'll like that. But it's got some styling to it. It has a matte magnesium alloy lid to it. It looks pretty good. The blacked out HP logo, so it's not too ultra flashy there. Got some tapering to the sides, and notice the complex lines here. It's kind of nice the way it's not just a simple black box. For a business machine, good looking. Again, not super skinny, but why is that? Well, here's the neat thing. You know how in an ultrabook you can never get inside these things. Even the ThinkPad X240, you got to unscrew a whole lot of Phillips head screws. You feel like you're not really being invited in there. HP says, go ahead, knock yourself out. Right here we have the bottom, and up here we have a release switch. And looky dooky, there it is, everything. This is the battery. You can actually remove it. There's two different battery capacities. We have the 46 watt-hour battery in here. So you can pop that. As you can see, there's little release latches. So it's not your traditional style removable battery. Obviously, it is still swappable. There's your 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can get this with a conventional spinning hard drive or an SSD drive. Right here we have the flash cache, which is labeled. They really expect IT departments to actually open these up and work on them, so it's nice. There's no guessing what the heck these things are. So if you want a spinning conventional hard drive and say a 32 gig caching drive, there's your M2 slot for that. Wide area or WAN, wide area LTE networking if you want that option. Here's our Wi-Fi card. This is dual band Intel 7260N Wi-Fi. And look, 2 RAM slots on a 12.5-inch machine. You're lucky if you even get one. Often it's just soldered on board. Labeled here, DIM 2. Again, everything's pretty clearly labeled so you can figure things out. So we have a 4 gig machine. We have one 4 gig DIM. And there's your fan over here in case you want to blow it out and clean it up. So that's why it's a bit thicker, to allow access to your internals. So I know a lot of you who watch this are more interested in consumer line notebooks, but you say you'd love to have things like easily upgradable internals, more ports. So, you know, for some of you, the business notebooks really might be a better bet, especially something like this ElitePad 820. So inside, thoroughly modern Ultrabook, 4th generation Intel Haswell Ultrabook 15-watt CPUs, your choice of Core i3, i5, or i7. You can get one with vPro or without, the usual i5-4200U, clocked at 1.6 gigahertz, dual core. That's what we have inside here. As you saw, we have 4 gigs of RAM, and this one has a 180 gig SSD. That's the Intel SSD. You can get it with a variety of different SSDs or a 500 gig, 7200 RPM spinning hard drive with or without that flash cache. Now, in terms of ports, well, knock yourself out here. There's a lot of ports on this thing. Obviously, some ventilation here. Fairly cool, quiet machine. Ultrabooks usually are. There's obviously enough room for cooling inside of this, so this is not a noisy machine at all. You can bring it to a meeting and nobody will beat you. Lock slot right there. Your ventilation, VGA port, handy for folks in businesses who still have legacy VGA monitors and projectors. USB 3.0 port with charging. Smart card reader. Business folks, you know what that is. The rest of you, just ignore that little slot. Indicator lights on the front over here for sleep, charge status, that sort of thing. 3.5 millimeter combo audio jack, full-size display port right there for higher resolution monitors. That's always nice. Another USB 3.0 port, another USB 3.0 port for a total of 3 ports. That's gigabit Ethernet there. Wired networking. And here we have docking connector, because this actually works with HP's dock. Being a business-oriented machine, business folks like docks. So you can take this away, then bring it right back to your desk and just plug in the dock connector to have everything working at once. And there's our charging connector. And down here, yes, there is an SD card reader, and it's inset here, a little blank dummy, so it's not going to stick out real far. In fact, it won't stick out at all when you have a card in there, which is nice. Robustly made, mil-spec, according to HP, feels strong enough. It doesn't rip, doesn't flex, anything like that. You drop it, nothing much happens to it. Not that I'm saying you should be slamming this thing around, but it's pretty sturdy. And nice looking, with the usual HP logo on the back, just like consumer machines. So, attractive package, particularly well configured when it comes to ports, especially considering 12.5 inches and 2.94 pounds. That's not bad. Charger is very compact. Lightweight 45-watt charger right here. Usual, plenty of cord on it, so easy to use. Not much to carry around. Again, good for the light business traveler. Inside, here's the good news and here's the bad news. This is a 1366 by 768 display. This is not a touchscreen. There is no touchscreen option that we have found on this. There is a higher quality panel option available. This is the base quality level. The nice thing about this is it's matte, so you're not getting a whole lot of glare there. The bad thing is you can see how it appears and disappears. The viewing angles aren't super wide. They're not hideous. We've seen certainly worse things than this, but not super great. Color saturation is okay, not superb on this. So, sadly, a lot of business machines get shortchanged on display quality. This would be one where the display is okay, but not great. Again, matte does count for a lot, and you can go for the higher quality display option. It's still going to be 1366 by 768. Which for a lot of business users, let's face it, is perfectly acceptable, especially given the way Windows handles scaling or Windows apps not so well. Speaking of Windows, right here, Windows 7 we have. Aha, you can get it with Windows 8 or Windows 7. It's up to you. HP decided to ship this to us with Windows 7, I think, to outline the fact that that is still an available option here. So for those of you, or for those of you with IT departments that still prefer Windows 7, there it is. And hence, the lack of a touchscreen makes sense here, because with Windows 7, the touch experience really wasn't paramount like it is in Windows 8. Unlike the ThinkPad, the display does not go all the way back. That's as far back as it goes. And if we lift it up here, you can see HP does a good job with keyboards, generally speaking. This one is nice and firm. It does not flex a whole lot. It has backlighting, which just came on. It's a little bit hard to see in good lighting, but there, I'll turn it sideways so you can see it now. Anyway, nicely laid out keyboard, very comfortable. Everything's where you expect it to be. FN key to actuate your multimedia functions, your volume. There's even a microphone on-off button here. Again, business-oriented kind of stuff. And here we have a wireless on-off and a mute button, usually important to business users. And on the opposite side, we have our power button over here on that side. And then we have the grill over here, speaker grill. Notice the trackpad and the track pointer. As ever, HP is trying to steal away Lenovo ThinkPad customers, and to that end, those folks are used to having their track point, the embedded eraser stick pointer, with the dual sets of buttons over here. Now, Lenovo has moved over to the buttonless trackpad design. Still has the functionality of all these buttons, but the physical clicky buttons are gone. HP sticks with this, and I know a lot of you traditionalists kind of miss those moving clicky buttons. You get them here. These are very soft buttons. It's funny, some manufacturers have very stiff trackpads and very stiff keyboards. This is very, very soft. Key travel on this, you can see from the side, it's not super duper high. It's not quite up there with some of the better ThinkPad keyboards or even Dell keyboards. It's not a terrible keyboard, but I would just like a little more traveled for it to feel comfortable. And the keys aren't really concave, they're just flat and they're not shaped in any way. So it's a very confident keyboard, but it's not the best of them. A few security features. Again, it's a business-oriented machine. It should. We have the fingerprint scanner right here. Friendly location for your right-handed people. Trusted platform module inside. We have BIOS protection, and we have something here on the screen that says HP Trust Circles. Now, this isn't something out of Meet the Fockers with their Circle of Trust. This is actually a software feature where anybody only people, let me put it that way, who are in your contacts list can actually access files on this computer. So a way to try to stop hackers from stealing data off of your drive. Now inside, this is an Ultrabook, just like you would expect. A full Windows 64-bit. Again, your choice of Windows 7 or Windows 8. If you get it with Windows 7, you actually get Windows 8 with downgrade rights to Windows 7. So here we have IE web browser, and let's test out video playback so you can see what that looks like, and so we can hear the speakers. So we'll look at our Galaxy Note Pro 12.2 review. Speed is perfectly good, 1366 by 768, so you're not seeing a whole lot on the screen at a time if you're used to full HD displays, but most business users, poor business users, they're not. I'll bring it up to 720p, so that's pretty loud. So this is it, the Samsung Galaxy
Even at 50%
volume,
it's pretty loud.
A lot of words in that title. Samsung is a wordy company, aren't they? And some folks have accused them of gadget spam. They do make an awful lot of products, and particularly now, tablets in every single...
Not bad at all for a business notebook. If you're going to be giving PowerPoint presentations with audio or anything like that, the speakers are actually pretty darn tolerable on this. And HP does have a good heritage in putting nice speakers in laptops thanks to their commercial line of envied laptops and so on. And
In addition to dual band Wi-Fi in here, an optional WLAN LTE 4G if you want it. You have Bluetooth 4.0 inside. As you saw, you have 2 DIMM slots, so you can go 4 gigs, 8 gigs of RAM in theory. You should be able to go up to 16 gigs of RAM. You can go up to a Core i7. Still going to be a ULV UltraBook CPU, so you're looking at the Core i7-45 or 4600U.